Hello, Techno guys. You must have gone through the video lecture on Lighthouse project at Lucknow, where precast PVC wall form panels along with steel structural system is being used. In the e-module for Techno guys, we have also given you enough reference material in form of films, lectures, presentations, books, certificates, circulars, etc. And it is strongly recommended that you must go through them and use them frequently. This collection of reference material at one place is unique, as you will not be able to get anywhere else this kind of information. So keep a copy of it. Having gone through the lecture, there must have been several queries, questions, doubts in your mind. In order to answer your queries, what I have done here is that based on my experience and interaction with various stakeholders on various platforms, I have created a section of frequently asked questions with common queries being raised. And that is what I am going to present to you now. The frequently asked questions are divided into 8 categories. Commonly asked categories are these 8, starting from cost to performance to capacities in terms of professional agencies and workforce. I will try to cover all of them one by one and try to answer them. But before that, let me just tell you the Lighthouse project at Lucknow is being implemented with 1040 houses in S plus 13 configuration, and the technology used is hybrid one, where steel structural frame with stay in place PVC wall form system is being used. The plot area is 20,000 square meter and the total project cost is 130.90 crores. The question about cost, because we are using steel structural system plus PVC wall form, naturally comes into mind whether the cost here is cheaper than the conventional cost of construction. And when we are saying the conventional cost of construction, it means if the same thing is done with cast in situ RCC frame construction and brick infill walls. So if I have to give you the tendered cost, the LHP at Lucknow was awarded at per flat cost, including infrastructure, at rupees 12.58 lakh. And if we compare it with conventional technologies cost, it is 15.38 lakh. So with conventional, it comes to 15, and here we are getting around 13 lakhs. So which is 18% cheaper than the conventional cost. Besides that, the technology being used is fast, cost effective, makes use of less energy, environment friendly, resource efficient, and you get waste is minimized. It is sustainable as well, and you have a clean dust free site, because being a drywall construction kind of things. Okay, now at the same time, let me also tell you that cost depends on number of factors, such as what is the size of the project, location, geoclimatic region, the foundation, means soil strata. If it is black cotton soil, naturally you have to invest more on foundation. Then availability of materials, if you have a factory nearby of PVC wall form or any drywall, then the cost may come down, because you will cut down the transportation cost and other things. Accessibility of site is also very important. Whenever we talk about these new systems, also remember that a critical mass, which is a minimum built up area or minimum number of houses, is required, because you have to set up a factory. And to compare it with conventional thing, you have to have minimum number of houses. Otherwise, what will happen, if you give less number of houses, the cost of factory setup will be loaded on the cost of your project, thereby increasing the cost. So that minimum number of houses required is must here, and that is known as economies of scale also. And it will again depend on your project size and other things, that only will decide the economies of scale. On the other hand, once the technology is mainstream and there is a demand from the market, the cost will automatically come down, because you will easily get the PVC wall form panel in the market. Another thing is that we are telling you that this is a stay-in-place formwork system. Means it is a lost formwork system. That has an advantage because this formwork will act as a formwork. Formwork is a kind of mold in which you put a reinforcement. In a conventional construction, you put a reinforcement cage of beam, column, or slab, and then do the casting and demold it. Then you return back that formwork. Here, this formwork acts as an integral part of the structure, and because it's a PVC wall form, so it is made of PVC, wall faces which are pre-finished walls. So once you do the lightweight concrete, this formwork first acts as a formwork, and then later it acts as a outer and inner surface of wall. And because it is pre-finished and it is a PVC wall form, so you don't require plaster, you don't require any water, you don't require any formwork, and the construction can be done pretty fast. Also, because these wall forms are customized and made as per your requirement, as per the size of your house or height of your house, so it can be easily corrected. You get the panel 300 to 600 millimeter wide of your full story height. So what you do, you just keep putting one panel over other with tongue and groove and slide and lock kind of system, and you erect these PVC wall forms within no time, and you can start using them without doing any plaster and those things. So these are the advantages, and as per this project, the cost is 18% cheaper. Also, this technology is resource efficient, environment friendly. Next question comes to mind is the structural performance, because we are using innovative construction technology, and the RCC frame construction is time-tested, proven. Let me also tell you that PVC wall form is proven demonstrable technology elsewhere in the world. And so here also its structural performance is superior than the conventional construction, because these panels are made in the factory, and then later you can fill it up depending upon your structural requirement. You can fill it up with lightweight concrete or the normal concrete. This will ensure desired structural performance. Okay, because you are filling it with concrete and then connecting it with the boundary elements, so better structural performance. Also, PVC wall forms are tested and proven for flexure, shear, and other loads. As I told you that these are designed as per your requirement. So depending upon the project requirement and the loads coming, and these PVC wall panels can be designed and later manufactured. The thickness you require, the cut length you require, the width you require, all those can be decided based on your structural design. Other advantages are better structural strength, as I told you. It can take flexure as well as shear load. Durability, they are durable because made in factory. Ease of construction. This formwork being a rigid PVC component, it does not corrode, it does not chip, it cannot be stained, and it is resistant to UV and bacteria, fungi, thus ensuring long life of structure. If we compare the life, the PVC wall form life as claimed by the manufacturers is 50 years. Okay. Also, it is very useful as a wall panel in coastal areas. As all of you know, in coastal areas we have a problem of corrosion. So being PVC wall form, there is no problem of corrosion, and it can easily be used as wall panels, thereby offering higher durability. So superior structural performance, and at the same time, let me also tell you that any technology will not serve its purpose unless you execute it properly on the ground. So proper execution is part and parcel of for the success of any technology and for the desired structural performance. That is one thing. Secondly, good workmanship and quality assurance. Although you will get all the panels tested from the factory, but when you start erecting them, when you start aligning them, you need to do it as per specification with good workmanship and assure the quality as well. These three things are important for superior structural performance. Next question comes about the functional performance. So as I told you in the last slide, because in between it's a hollow. PVC wall panel of 100 mm or 160 or 150 mm, depending upon your application, it is hollow, and that hollow portion can be filled either by concrete or it can be filled by lightweight concrete. In this project, we are filling it with lightweight concrete, and lightweight concrete doesn't have aggregates. It can be done with foam or otherwise, you can use cement fly ash and aluminum powder to create foam. So voids are created. Those voids help in thermal insulation. Okay, and because these panels are made in the factory, so they have advantages in terms of durability, weather resistance. Okay, and another advantage, once you have thermal insulated walls, it will reduce the energy demand of your building. And once you reduce the energy demand of your building during the service life of the building, the overall life cycle cost will be minimum. So that is also very important. Another important thing is, because it's a pre-finished wall. Pre-finished wall means that the wall you get from the factory as per your desired parameters. So whatever color you want, suppose you want different colors, so you can get those color options from the factory. So you don't require plaster, you don't require anything else, and these walls are aesthetically pleasing and with a top class finished surface in different color options. So that is another added advantage of these wall panels. Further, the polymer content used in manufacturing of formwork are recyclable. Let me also tell you here that as professionals and as engineers and architects, whatever material we are using in our construction or whatever building we are creating, we need to also look into that once the service life of that project or of that building is over, how that building is going to be disposed, which is normally is not seen by the engineers at the initial stage, because we think that our job is to construct this building and give it to the agency. But you need to take care in the wake of sustainable development, in the wake of climate change. We need to look at the total overall life cycle cost. So one of the important things is, how are we going to dispose the building, whether it will pose any environment hazard, whether whatever we are using can be reused, recycled, re-engineered, remanufactured. So that is also very important. So in case of wall panels, polymer can be recycled up to 55%. Fire rating, as per the manufacturer certificates, the panels come in different fire ratings, 1.5 hours to 2 hours. So and as I told you in other lectures as well, that there is no compromise as regards fire rating. So fire rating of these panels need to be as per national and international standards. Joints and connections are pretty simple here, because wall panels can easily be connected by slide and lock arrangement. And secondly, once they are erected, they are hollow and they have cavities, and through those cavities, you put horizontal and vertical reinforcement. So wall panel with all wall panels connected with horizontal and vertical reinforcement, and later you fill it with the concrete. So it acts as a monolithic shear wall. And other advantages, it is a monolithic shear wall and it is pre-finished with PVC, the skins on both the faces. So it's a pre-finished shear wall construction. So that is the advantage. So as far as wall is concerned, it is good to transfer the load with monolithically. Structural integrity of walls are, achieved because of this kind of arrangement. Now, another thing is, how do we connect these walls with the existing structural system? So it can be RCC or it can be steel structural system. In our case, it is a steel structural system. So when you are using a steel structural system, so all beams and columns can be connected through anchor boards, plates, and double bars. If you are using RCC, then it is slightly simpler, because you can cast the concrete, of beams, slab, and this together. In steel structure system also, here if we use deck slab, then the concrete screed is cast with reinforcement going into the beams. So you can connect all the structural elements at this slab level, thereby ensuring rigid diaphragm action. And that rigid diaphragm action is very important for ensuring seismic resistance. So connections, both types of connections are they are wet if you are using RCC. If steel, then you can do it with dry. And here in LHB Lucknow, it is a dry connections where it is being connected with the structural system with anchor bolts, plates, and door bars. Remember one more thing here, that all the joints, when you are using a new innovative construction system, need to be properly designed. And properly designed means that each joint, what is the load coming, what is the flexure load, what is the torsion and the axial load. For that load, you need to design that connection. So all the connectors, whether it is nut, whether it is bolt, whether it is base plate, whether it is angle, so what should be its thickness, moment of inertia, and other important parameters, compressive strength, and all those things need to be properly designed. And then the joint should be properly detailed. The length of the joint, the length of the dimensions of the plates, if you are using cleat, the dimensions of the cleat, then what should be the bearing, all those things need to be properly detailed so as to avoid failure of connection, because a poorly designed strong connection will not help. Similarly, if you don't detail it properly and if you have designed it properly, that will also not help and lead to the failures. So joint and connections, there are absolutely no problem when we are talking about PVC wall forms. Design aids, if we talk about, these can be easily modeled, PVC wall forms, because being a concrete wall, it can be easily modeled. Also, for these innovative systems, they have their own softwares, so you can always use those softwares. But always remember that these softwares are not tailor-made for tailor-made or synced with Indian standards. So what you can do the analysis, or you can put your parameters as per Indian standards, do the analysis, and then use any standard structural design package to design your walls and, of course, structural system. For concrete, you can use IS 456, and National Building Code is must to see the guidelines regarding functional performance, sustainability, fire, space norms, quality control and assurance norms, and a whole lot of other things which are required in building construction. Schedule of rate, of course, for this PVC wall form, the CPWD is in the process of making, and for steel structure, schedule of rate is already available. Remember that in absence of Indian standards, always the international standards can be referred, and it is being advocated by BIS firmly. And what the decision has to be taken by the project in charge, that in the absence of Indian standard, can we use international standard? The answer is yes. Also, PVC wall panels are certified by BMTPC through a scheme called Performance Appraisal Certification Scheme. BMTPC is authorized by Government of India, and also the BIS clearly states that the new construction systems and new sustainable building materials which are not coming in the code, they can be certified by BMTPC through PACS, and that PACS is a kind of pre-standard. So before entering into the BIS or Indian standard, that PACS is valid and can be used for certification purposes. There are standards which are used for designing, analyzing this building, for designing and for fabrication of a steel structural system. So most important code for loads are A875, which gives in detail the dead loads, live load, densities, load combination, and other things. And for earthquake, we have 1893. Always remember this 1893, and please use that code whenever you do any design, irrespective of the type. And then for steel, we have a code IS 800. It is rewritten. Now we have a limited state method of for design in IS 800 as well. So for steel structural system, you can use IS 800. And if you are using concrete, then you RCC frame for concrete, then you can use IS 456. Okay, so that is the most important code for RCC. Apart from this, for foundations, if you're using conventional, so there are 2950 for raft. Then for shallow foundation, there is 1080. Then for pile also, we have a separate code. For machine foundation also, we have a code. So all these codes, why I'm showing you these all codes in addition to the code for that new technology or certification, you need to use these codes as well, because if you're using concrete, steel, and conventional foundations. Additional alterations, sorry, it cannot be done here because it is again pre-planned, and PVC wall forms, these are factory-made, pre-finished walling components, so it will be very difficult to do additions and alterations. But it is not sacrosanct that you can't do it. You can do it with the help of experts, but my advice is difficult. And maintenance of services, same thing here, that in stay in place PVC wall form, everything is pre-planned, or all MEP services are concealed and installed, before, pouring the concrete. So at a later stage, it is difficult. So what is my advice? Preventive maintenance. Regular preventive maintenance means checking of lines, conduits, clogging. Most of the time, let me cite the example of a roof. If you don't clean your roofs, there is clogging of drains. And those clogging of drains, during rainy season, your drains are clogged. Drains will lead to leakage of water. So it's a very small thing that before summer, before rainy season, if you can clean your drains, if you can remove the leaves and other things, dirt, then it's a very small intervention, but that will help you help you prevent ingress of water during the rainy season. So similarly, there are procedures for regular preventive maintenance, and all these new technologies, they come with the manual, that if in case of services, how do you do these kind of preventive maintenance, and in case of any failure or leakage, how to carry out maintenance. But it is difficult, but it can be done with the help of experts and skilled workforce. Capacities, yes, capacities are low if we talk about PVC wall forms, and that is why most of the projects are given in design on build basis. But concerted efforts are being made at Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs level, and along with BMTPC, we are constantly trying to train the professionals, including students of architecture and engineering. We are also running a course, Navriti, in association with the School of Planning and Architecture, through which we are building capacities of professional and architects. Also, these lighthouse projects, as you know, are live laboratories, and this Technograhi e-module is started with this purpose only, so that you understand the nuances of these technologies, and later on you can use these technologies. Also, our aim is to get these innovative construction technologies included in the academic curriculum of our universities and technical institutions, so that they become part of the education curriculum of engineering and architecture. Also, if we talk about agencies, as of now, there are very few agencies who work with this stay in place PVC wall form and requisite experience to execute large scale projects. Very few agencies, but in the wake of Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India call given by Honorable Prime Minister, a whole lot of startups, industries, young entrepreneurs, young engineers and architects, they are coming and joining the bandwagon of these new construction technologies and coming as technology providers. So I'm pretty sure that in times to come, when these technologies are mainstream, we will have a number of agencies, and there will be healthy competition amongst them. Always remember that whenever we work with new technologies, you need to impart training to the workforce as well. So you just can't use unskilled labor as it is, because you have to properly lay these walls. These walls are made in the factory, then they need to be transported, erected, they need to be hoisted in a particular fashion. So all unskilled labor workforce require a little bit of on-site training, and they can be easily trained. Similarly, whenever you use any innovative technologies, trained skilled manpower is necessary, and we are also making efforts to train the existing workforce. And there are agencies, they first impart training to the workforce which is available, and then they start the projects. I hope I'm able to cover some of the queries and misconceptions which we have in our mind whenever we talk about new technologies. I hope it will serve your purpose for the time being. In case you have any specific question or you want to know more about these technologies or about this particular system, you can send an email to me on the following address, ska@bmtpc.org, and I will definitely try to answer to the best of my capacities. So for the time being, thank you very much.